Have you ever wondered why some men like Andrew Tate can smoke 6 cigars a day, sleep 6 hours, and still beat the shit out of you? Because it's not just genetics. If you think it's just genetics that give someone the predisposition to have a higher testosterone baseline, you're only like 10% right.
Let's go.
Your genetics, yeah, sure, the number of Leydig cells that produce testosterone in your testes can actually influence your testosterone levels. Yeah, sure. But let me tell you, there is actually so much more to the actual winner's mindset that come from your testosterone. It's not just men like Andrew Tate, men like these guys that can actually just get after it and actually make so much money, win all the time. They have just kind of like this aura of winning. It's not just them having some kind of super magical power. It's their psychology, and that's what we're going to start with discussing right now. Men like Andrew Tate have a extremely competitive mindset, and they do not settle for anything less than excellence. They have a feeling as if to put it very simply, imagine a hygiene standard. You would not let yourself go a day without showering, for example, because that would be disgusting. If you were to walk outside your house, you would brush your teeth and brush your tongue so you didn't have terrible, horrible dragon breath. You would make sure that these hygiene standards would never be broken. It's the same thing to do with the money in your bank account. There will be a number that you will never let yourself go lower than. There will also be an amount of time that you are unsuccessful that you will just not let happen. When you are to the point where being unsuccessful, not being at the state that you want to be, not having the body of your dreams, when you are at that point where it is worse and you want it like you want oxygen, that is the point where you will actually pull off a miracle. So when I'm telling you about the psychology, think of it of competition and excellence. Never settle for anything that is mediocre. Always pursue excellence. This means if you have a bad habit, why would you be doing that bad habit? Hygiene standard. We do not do bad habits. We do not wank our winkies, spank our monkeys. We do not do these things. We do not play the video games because the video games supplement our purpose in life, which castrates us and it makes us not be able to actually think about the ways we could actually make money, build our body. We do not want to be doing these things because they're actually just diminishing our presence within the world. Now, I'm saying this, you're thinking, oh my God, it's not that serious, Daniel. It's not that serious. I'm okay with being unsuccessful. This isn't the channel for you, bro. Because there's somebody here. I see you, man. I see the fact that you have this desire, you have that thing that God placed you in your heart, that actual gift that feels like a curse sometimes. All of these things together, I'm telling you, I'm fired up for this because that is the testosterone. The testosterone. Some men just have higher testosterone than you because of the mentality. A bitch blames their genetic predisposition. An actual man actually just takes responsibility. You know what? Everybody, I guarantee you this video will have less views because every single person tunes out when you start talking about competition, because everybody's kind of like, oh, competition is scary. I don't want to do competition because I don't want to lose. I'm just competing with myself. No. And you know why? Because life is competitive. You want a job and somebody wants that job. You want to have this amount of money. Well, that means that somebody had to give it to you and not to the other person. It's a competition. It just really is. And the thing is, the longer you just neglect that and see it as a bad thing, the worse it is. Because if you weren't incompetent, you would actually enjoy it. Think of it like this. If you were playing a video game and you won all the time, sure, it was difficult. Sometimes you lost, but like you were good at it, you would enjoy it. If you start to win more, you start to actually like competition way more. I don't know why I keep stumbling on competition. Freaking like stupid. If you are getting better, if you become more competent, you will like competition much more and your testosterone will get upregulated. All of this together, what this does is it creates more vitality in your life. for you to actually pursue your goals and win more often. Not only will you be able to build more muscle faster. I'm like 17 years old, man, and I got 17.25 inch arms. The professional bodybuilders have like 18.5 inch arms. So you telling me I couldn't do 1 inch 0.25 in my lifetime? Of course not. Like Mike Menzer, he had 18.5 inch arms, and I'm telling you, all that stuff is so achievable. People always say you can't actually do the things. They have so many limiting beliefs, but guys who are truly successful see those things as baseline, see that everything is actually achievable, because look, it's like that the first guy to run the 4-minute mile. Everybody said it was impossible to run a 4-minute mile, but then once one guy did it, multiple people did it. It's because they saw it was possible. The truth is, most things are actually possible, just everybody has limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs are so infectious. Never let yourself fall for those limiting beliefs. Think of it like this. Most people need to prove that something is right. For you, your new belief is that you have to prove to me that it's wrong. If I want something, you need to prove to me that it's impossible, because I will continue. I know it's possible, and I know the reason I haven't gotten to it is because I am missing some sort of knowledge, and I need that knowledge for me to actually become successful. So don't settle for mediocrity. Don't train like a wimp. Sometimes I'm like in the gym and I see somebody talking to their buddy while they're doing a set. Bro, you're not growing when you're doing that unless you're like really new to the gym. Man, I'm telling you, you just can't settle for being mediocre. Instead of being a victim to your circumstances, why don't we change them? Why don't we find that specific piece of knowledge that we're missing and influence our actual testosterone levels, our motivation, our actual impact on the world? Now, there's other things you can do, like avoiding plastics, endocrine disruptors, things that bind to your estrogen receptors and interfere with estrogen signaling. We want to avoid plastics like BPA, and anything that says BPA free typically isn't good either, because it has different types of plastic. If you avoid them, then your actual body starts to work way better. So that's just another quick tip. You can watch more videos on my YouTube channel about hormonal optimization. This is more of a mindset video, because ultimately your body is a machine and it gets orders from your brain on what to do. And if you have full control of your brain, that means you can influence your hormones, and your hormones influence the emotions you feel, the level of the emotions, the strength that you have to actually pursue. So how do you start to enjoy the grind? How do you actually become more competent? Well, you will start to enjoy competition when you start to become more competent. But how do you actually become more competent? So let's go into that. Competence is cultivated. It's not something you're born into. It actually comes from taking on more responsibility. And you'll notice that these guys that usually have higher testosterone or are deemed to be like stronger men or something like that, they seem a little bit less emotionally reactive. They won't really cry if there's a spider on the wall, like some guy, like a child would, you know? They won't cry because there's a spider on the wall, because they've gotten their heart broken. They have started to feel how it feels when somebody who's less qualified than them actually gets the opportunity they've been striving for. They start to feel the pain of seeing the woman that they love leave their life. They get all of these things together, and what it does is it hardens you. But really, competency is built through taking up more responsibility. Let me tell you, when I was in high school, I had a part-time job, I had a girlfriend, I trained Muay Thai, I went to the gym. I was in high school studying all 3 sciences, physics, chemistry, biology. I was doing even math. I was cooking at home. I was cooking every single day. And man, I'm telling you, it felt really hard, and there were times where I didn't enjoy it as much. But coming out of high school with so much more time, I started to realize just how intelligent I am. It's like, yeah, sure, Daniel, oh, look at you all freaking arrogant. No, it's just confidence, because I want you to succeed more, and I'm, you know what I mean? So I realized that when I started taking up more responsibility, it felt hard in the moment, but in the future, I was able to be more competent in my professional endeavors when it came to actually providing good work, to do my best. And so what I realized is that if I took more responsibility and I tried to do more things, made sure my girl felt loved, made sure that I was doing good in school, that my body was growing. I got 17.5 inch arms. I gained 50 pounds while I was in high school. Yeah, wow, that's pretty crazy. Still visible abs. Anyways, that was because I was actually making sure to pursue excellence. I was not settling for mediocrity. I was getting my homework done. I was making sure to work to be the best version of myself. And of course it's a process. You're gonna make mistakes, but that's okay, because even if you make mistakes, you get informed. And what that does is later in the future, you go through so much stuff that it makes you actually able to take better actions. And so altogether, you have a higher baseline for how much stress you can handle. And the very best men, the most competitive, the most actually successful men, are the people who can handle the most stress without them actually faltering. This is because they go through so much, and their emotions, they feel it and they get used to them. And they can be happy while also being sad. It's not even sadness, it's just less levels of happiness. Now all of it together, there's a competitive advantage for every single part of your life. There's a competitive advantage to every state. And I want you to find that. If you don't have any sales, you can say, oh man, I'm here, and I'm like full connection, full conviction, I will help you. If you have a lot of sales, you can say, wow, it's a lot of sales, it's backed up, a lot of people have gotten results. If you are new to the gym, you can say, okay, my muscles are plump for anything. Anything I do will actually make it better. And if you have gone to the gym for a long time, you can say, oh wow, well, I've gone for a long time, I know what works, what doesn't, so now I can look for the better piece of information to get me to my goal. Most important thing is just have a goal, take up more responsibility, and make sure that you become the man you are trying to become. If you are a young man, you have the life force energy to take up more responsibility, and that is meant so that you become more powerful. If you become more powerful, take up more responsibility, become more knowledgeable, all of it together, it turns you to a strong, competent man. You have gone through so much, you have been hardened, and make sure you stay as a good man. That's the last thing I'm going to leave you with, because so many people, they get hurt, they get pushed down. The true good men, the truly good men, are the men that were able to stick with the man that they see them to be in their heart, the men who stayed good men. The men who stayed good men. Those are the ones that have my true respect. Serious. If you want to join my program, link in description, I heavily recommend it. I personally used it to bench 315, and I'm still lean 17.25 inch arms. And I'm telling you, I have so much conviction for this system, because look, I was plateaued at 225 bench press for 1 full year. And then in 7 months, I increased it 100 pounds, meaning that I was at 225 for 1 year, plateaued. I'm at 325 now, bench press. So all of it together, feeling the health, the vitality, everything together, having a full support system of young men who have gone through the experiences that you are going through, or are currently in the experiences you are going through, and you can collaborate and work together. This is the mission. Testosterone levels have decreased 50% in the last 50 years, and it is imperative that we make sure that we are the men that change this for our family. Because the truth is, the actions you take actually go for generations. Everything you do right now will be felt for generations, or you will just be forgotten. And you will not have any impact on the world. Truth is, if you optimize your hormones, your testosterone, you make sure you are successful, you will be remembered. I'll just leave you with that. Be a good man and like the video, bro. Link in the description.